issue, and we had a lot of contention, and there was a motion that I made to amend the original motion. And we voted twice as a board since then to correct those minutes, the minutes of that actual meeting and my motion, just to try to get it right. But it wasn't until this FOIA that came out through Lisa Neal, who was looking at FOIA of the district for a bunch of emails, and there was like a bunch of emails. But out of that came a series of emails that showed Dr. Chapman basically trying to change my motion in the minutes. And I think that was wrong to do. And I don't know, obviously it just sort of fell out. I didn't know it was going on at the time, but obviously we had to correct it twice. And so my point is that I want to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. I don't think the board president should be reviewing the minutes before it comes to the full board. I don't think we should be revising them for sure. And I think that practice is still continuing. So I want us to, as a board, my proposal to the board would be that we stop that practice.
Well, I guess I'm a little puzzled because you're assuming that this did go on intentionally, and you're assuming that it is still going on. I don't know that it is. The minutes of the meeting are probably one of the most transparent things that we have. We all look at them. We all vote on them. We all have the opportunity to make changes to them. These were all voted on, and now we're going back in retrospect and looking through the minutes. I imagine there are changes and mistakes that are made through there, but I'm not sure where you're coming up with the editing.
Okay.
And let me just say one more thing before you do. As a president of a former president of a PTA or any organization that I've been with, if you're the president of that organization and you're going to be signing those minutes, I'm going to make sure that I have looked over those minutes carefully. I see no problem with the superintendent taking a look at it. You're getting the same thing. We are all, board president, I'm sorry, we are all, looking at the same minutes. So if there is a problem or there's a misperception, that's the time to bring it up at the meeting. We all have the opportunity. Actually, we have a longer opportunity. We get the board packets on a Friday. We don't have our meetings until Wednesday.
Right. What I would like to do is to read out to you the series of emails that show this is not a perception. This is something that occurred. Okay, so you can understand what I'm talking about here and why I would object to this. All right. The first email, excuse me, comes from Judy Becker, our board secretary, from Judy Becker to Marilyn McCracken, who at the time was our assistant superintendent of business. June says, hello. While reviewing minutes from the last board meeting, Dr. Chapman requested that a specific value be placed where I have indicated in red. When amending the motion, Dr. Quinn had indicated it to be, quote, debt limit as set by law, 1.5% going forward. Could you please help me with that amount? Thank you, June. Mary Lee says, I am sure that Liz Hennessy will know the answer. Can you email her? So June does. Hi, Liz. Can you provide an answer to my highlighted question? Thank you so much, June. So, Liz Hennessy, who is the bond counsel, who was presenting the bond issue to us at the time, says, hi, June and Mary Lee. I do not recall an amount specified in her amendment. I believe her motion was to restrict the proceeds to capital use and not to allow refunding only. Thanks, Liz. To which June says, replying to Liz and Mary Lee, upon reviewing the video, Dr. Quinn said the following, quote, not to issue working cash bonds, but to restrict it to the capital bonds up to whatever our debt limit is, as set by law, the 1.5% going forward, unquote. Our board president, Dr. Chapman, would prefer an amount there. However, I'm not sure that amount was available at the time of the meeting. He believes an amount was recommended. I wasn't sure if you knew the debt limit is set by law. Thanks again for your patience, June. Liz replies back, hi, June. Sue Quinn asked how much they could issue without refunding, and I said I would have to get back to her. She asked if a fair estimate was 1/2 or 1/3 of the amount proposed, and I said most likely. Options 1 and 2 that I sent as a follow-up show amounts between $4 and $6.4 million with no refunding. That helps Liz. Finally, June sends a message back to Dr. Chapman. Hi, Jerry. I'm sorry to bother you, but in researching the amended motion by Dr. Quinn regarding the district bonds, I have both reviewed the video and inquired to Ms. Hennessy and Ms. McCracken. If you have a moment, could you please review the information below and advise as to how the minutes should read? I was able to ascertain the specific amount of the debt limit as set by law, 1.5%. Perhaps different language can be used in the minutes. motion. You can word the things that happen in the board meeting, we talked about this, we talked about that, but a motion is a specific thing that the board agrees to and votes upon. You cannot change my motion that I make to be something else. And there, for whatever reasons, Dr. Chapman was trying to change it to be a specific dollar amount as opposed to the actual words that I said. And that kind of change makes a difference. And if it didn't make a difference, he wouldn't be trying to do it. So it's very upsetting to me that this happened. It's upsetting to me that I found out about it 6 months after it happened, only by accident. And it really makes me question what else is happening that I just don't know. And I think it is a routine practice because, again, in the minutes that we're going to be voting on next, the September 15th minutes, there were other things that had happened that clearly seem to be spinning things a certain way, presenting things a certain way. And I don't think that's appropriate. I think it undermines this board's operation when the board president has this editorial power over the minutes. And I think we should put a stop to it, the official record for this board.
I think one of the issues that may not be aware is the timing. It wasn't that we all received the same information at the same time. This was before we received the packet, so we didn't, if you look at the time frame on it, it wasn't that we had the same information at the same time. And I think it's good that we all look at minutes and that we can send, questions to June if we have an issue. But we all should have them at the same time and have the minutes that we're starting with so we know what has changed. And we do have the tapes, which is good to go back to. So I think that's the concern I have, is that no one should be editing before the rest of us see it. And then we should know what the changes are, just so we can review ourselves to make sure it's correct. So that's my position.
And that's what I'm going to be suggesting is.
The problem
this
is that
motion.
they're not minutes, they're drafts of minutes. And they're not minutes until we approve them. So we all have the opportunity to edit the minutes. And that's what we do when we approve them. We either
Listen,
approve what's written there.
I don't get to edit the minutes without anyone looking at it before everybody else gets to look at it. I only get to edit the minutes in this boardroom right now. Okay, Dr. Chapman gets to edit the minutes before anyone gets to see them and put in whatever, apparently he can change people's motions, which is not right and flies in the face of an accurate record. And that we have to go to the tape, I mean, how many times have we had to go to the tape here recently? Okay, that's a problem. Right? We
Well, I
shouldn't be
think
having
some
to
of
do
it,
that.
I probably shouldn't say this, some of it is political in nature, I think. I'm sorry,
It's a
you
political
have
board.
there has been a vendetta against Dr. Chapman from the get-go. Sue, I can read it, would you like me to read my from the letters that you have sent out? Particularly attacking Dr. Chapman and Dr. Eckert.
Those are.
So how do you work as a board? They're signed as a board member. We are one board. We're 7 board members, but we are one board. This is a personal vendetta. It's been going on since I've been in office, and I've got the letters where you have written and done nothing but go after them. So I think part of it is, there could be a misconception, but I do think that part of it is that you are after the president. You don't like him, and you've shown it in many ways. And I'd be happy to read the parts that I have as well.
You can read my emails that I send to my constituents because I'm not that's not private information. I obviously sent that out to the public.
But I think the public would be surprised.
I don't think so because I put it out to the public, but whatever.
I think there are others that would.
And this particular issue, I'm sorry, it really is just about whether the board as a whole should have the same opportunity to see the minutes at the same time. And I think we should, because it's impossible to go through every detail and remember every detail unless I'm gonna be the recording secretary at every meeting for myself too, to write everything down. I mean, but, if there's changes, there's mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. But it'd be nice to know just, what I believe is not correct with this or what you believe at the same
And I
time.
totally agree with what you're
And that's
saying.
that's the issue for me.
I totally
I think
agree
it
with
is
you.
also
I don't
too.
think that it's been done intentionally. I think it's one of the most transparent things that we have, and things happen. There are things that are misquoted or mistaken, misvotes, votes marked down wrong. It happens. But I think it's a personal attack.
But again, I don't think one board member should see it before the rest and have editorial input. I think it's something as a board, we're all voted the same, we have the same you know.
Well, one of the things that maybe we'll address later, because we are addressing the issue of board officers, and if the board does opt to select a secretary, that would define that role as that person would to put the minutes in the appropriate form, so that may take care of it. Other comments?
I think if the board member thinks something's been done wrong, why don't we just have our attorney investigate it?
This is a board procedure, it's not like, you know, something someone's gonna go to jail for, it's not a law violation. It's
No, but it
board
is a
procedure.
character assassination.
I believe that changing my motion was the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna make that accusation. But if this board wants to operate in the way that it is operating, where Dr. Chapman has the ability to have editorial control over minutes before the rest of the board gets to see it, then that is your choice, okay? But don't pretend that it's not that, because that is what's happening.
As has been the case, I mean, is this different than other, is this a new rule? Is this has this happened when you were president, Tim? Did you get the board minutes first?
No.
You did not get the board minutes first.
What's that argument?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Again, it's, we all
You
got the
didn't?
packet at the same time.
You didn't sign board minutes as the president?
After the board approved them, everybody saw them at the same time. We didn't have, I mean, nobody called me to say, hey, what do you think this should be? You know, that just didn't happen.
So procedure again now, isn't it?
This would be something different than I'm aware of. Again, and that's why it was a surprise to me as well. Again, I saw those in those emails. We all got the copy, you know, it's probably this thick, so depending on how much you read through it. But again, it's just, I think we all should see them at the same time. You know, this is the public record, and I'm not gonna catch everything, you know, no individual is probably gonna catch anything. And I would rather have us all get them at the same time, email, if there's any changes, so we're all aware of what changes are being made, because you know, it's so hard in these packets, you know, if somebody changes a number and it's not highlighted, you know, you're not gonna find it. It's just very difficult. So it would help, I think, the process, and just help us all have a better feeling that, you know, we are the same, so to speak, and that we have input and can communicate. I think it's a plus. I really do.
I'd like to see this put to a vote, so that we can say as a board, this is whichever way it's gonna go, but that we've clearly said this, because otherwise it'll disappear into the lack of description of the discussion that we just had, that will be in the minutes, which there'll be no discussion of this in the minutes, there'll be no record of it. So if we wanna have a policy of how we're going to do this as a board, I'd like to see it put to a vote. I wanna do that now, make a motion now, if that's,
Well, we can't take
Is
action.
it an action?
It's not an
Can we
action
take
item.
an action?
We have to do it at the next meeting. Take action. We could give maybe direction and consensus on something.
can I do it under the action item where we have the reading and acceptance of the minutes section of the 13th board meeting?
I think
Would
you
it
can
be
change,
acceptable?
you can change the minutes, those minutes. I think that's the option. I think you can, if you want to reach consensus, they would like to have the administration address the issue in